And welcome to Putting the Pieces Back Together, brought to you by Purple Heart Homes. Was that more enthusiastic?
A little more
Am I getting better?
enthusiastic.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Oh wait, I'm not supposed to talk in this voice anymore. I was told by our producer that
'Cause you are loud.
I have to talk. I have to talk in this voice. They want me to talk in the radio voice extreme because I can keep my voice monotone and not get too outside the box. Also, the other microphones don't hear me when I talk in that voice. Yeah.
You are
Yeah.
so loud.
Oh my gosh. There's a lot going on behind the scenes before we get the show started.
Yes, there is a lot going on.
Joe, your microphone was like
drooping. That's why it's like pointed
Yeah.
up now. It's like drooping. And then Joe threw his headphones on the ground when you yelled.
And you licked my face?
Dude, you had this rogue.
Why are you licking my face?
This rogue eyebrow that was like broke rank. That was like a flag in the wind.
I thought Leah was my mom for a second.
yeah.
I was like, what are you doing there?
That makes for good radio.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that does make for good radio. They couldn't see it.
No.
No.
Why do you have that?
What do I have? What? Oh, my tape measure?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so I can make sure I'm at least 6 feet apart from our guest.
Oh,
Yeah.
who is our guest? You just messed up my segue.
I messed up your guess. I segue.
I was supposed to say, and let's build on that.
Oh,
Speaking of building, our next guest.
our next guest is Val Black.
Val Black.
our construction manager here at
Purple Heart Homes.
Yeah. What is she in charge of building?
She's in charge of building. We work together.
Right.
So she does the construction of the homes, and I do the logistics and operations.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It was like the dynamic duo.
Oh, and you're both kind of like redheads and
We are.
and tall and angry.
Tall.
Is that right? So hello, Val.
Hello. Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh man. Well, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
This your first time?
This is my first time here.
Yay.
Yes.
You know, I think we've previously had Val's husband on here, though.
A couple times.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. My husband, former Marine, Jason Keating. He's been on here 2 or 3 times.
Former Marine? What is that nonsense?
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Once
Oh
a
my
Marine,
gosh.
always a Marine. Oh, he'd be so upset that I said that. But yes,
Yeah,
he's
he
a
would be-
Marine.
Yes, Jason is a Marine. That's
He
right.
doesn't Marine anymore.
No,
But he is
no.
a Marine.
I mean, sometimes he does. I've seen him get a little upset and be like, what happened?
That is true. He still does
I'll
that.
be there in like 5 minutes.
And don't look in the back of his Prius because basically you lift up the back and it's like a go thing. I don't even know. He's got everything in there.
That's the funny thing. So Val is our construction manager here, and she is very like tomboyish and like covered in paint all the time and sawdust. And Jason's very like, well, always like well put together, and he drives a Prius.
Yes.
Yeah, who drives the pickup truck?
Yeah, I drive the truck.
And
Yeah. And he has more shoes than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, manicure. I mean, and then he'll also kill you with a spoon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I figure in an apocalypse, we're covered. Like he can be the assassin and I would be the carpenter. So we'd always be needed.
oh
Yeah, there you go. That's a way to look at
I'm
it.
not
Yeah.
sure that I would have to take in an apocalypse situation, especially if it was like a zombie one. I'd have to take an oath of silence.
Oh my gosh, yes. Because we would hear you like in other towns. The vibration of Devin's voice.
Well, I mean, I could like if we have to go to battle with other tribes, then I could be the rallying cry.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
you could.
Yeah.
Like in Braveheart.
Yeah. They'll never take our freedom. Joe is probably having a nightmare situation over there, controlling the volume. I just was heard on every microphone.
just give up?
He gave up. He
Joe gave up.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
So hey, we're bantering, but we're not talking about what is your actual job here. What do you do?
So my actual job title is technical production manager, but basically that's just a construction manager in a production facility.
Yeah, they like to get real wordy with the titles around here, don't they?
Yeah, they do. But I think they wanted to be real clear that it's a production facility. We're not just building outside or building one-off houses. We're producing the same houses over and over.
And what kind of houses are we producing?
So they're considered tiny homes. They're right now our only model is the 32 by 10, and it's 32 feet long, 320 square feet. It's got a full kitchen, a large bathroom, kind of a living room, dining room area, and a bedroom with a closet and a washer and dryer.
And yeah, I mean, and you're building that all in house, right?
Yep, we do everything in house except for the foundation.
The foundation. I thought my voice was the foundation of Purple Heart Homes. I didn't. No.
Please
Okay.
no.
All right.
She said no. Don't go there.
So, you're back there building these tiny homes every day. That's not what you started off here doing, though, right?
No, I started here about 2 years ago. Well, I came here from a cabinet shop in Mooresville. So I was a cabinet maker, finish carpenter by trade. And then when I got hired here, I was the team lead for the ramp building side. So we did the ramps, accessibility ramps for the veterans. And then quickly I ended up moving over to the tiny house side.
Yeah, probably because they didn't have a lot of people that actually knew about construction here, and
Yeah.
you'd been doing that basically your whole adult life, right?
Mhm. Yep. Pretty much about 16 years now I've been doing construction, but I grew up in a construction family. So I've been doing it before that too.
Like
Construction.
listening to her talk is like I'm in awe. When she's to have like I'm not trying to like be sexist, but a woman in construction, but she knows her stuff, and so to hear her talk and give guidance and instruction, it's like really amazing at the amount of knowledge you have.
Oh my gosh! So when she first started, she started off when she talked about the ramp thing, and I would go out there on ramp builds with her, and I did out there the same thing I do on here. I run my mouth, so I get all the volunteers excited and tell them what's going on. And Val's actually in charge. I'm just there to talk. And after like the first 2 or 3 ramps, is like, hey, look, I know all of you guys are bank managers and IT guys, and you're going to want to do more than what the woman's doing. But her job is construction. I think she knows more than you. So I'm just going to. So yeah, that was a conversation we had to keep having. Yeah.
Yeah, every single time, pretty much. But now we tend to work with the same volunteers a lot. And they know now. They've gotten better about it. So
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. If you work with more volunteers, especially like people get a feel for it and they go, oh yeah, she really does know more than I do. I mean, I kind of did some construction-y type stuff before I came here, but it was in a different line.
Construction-y.
Well, I
That
did
is such an
HVAC.
amateur word.
I
I
mean,
play with Legos.
wow.
I build with Legos.
Are you making fun of my
sorry.
ability to articulate? I guess
Yeah.
I articulate about as good as Legos. They're all blocky and yeah, they only come in
Construction-y.
certain sizes. Yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that.
I don't know, but we need to
Yeah,
go
what?
on break.
Oh, yeah, we should. I'll build some other segue during the break. You've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together.
Dear friends and supporters, as we prepare to welcome in 2025, we at Purple Heart Homes are looking ahead with hope and determination to make this year even more impactful for the veterans that we serve. Thanks to your generosity, we've built ramps, renovated homes, and transformed the lives of over 233 veterans and their families. But there's still more to do. Right now, several projects are waiting to get started, and we need your help to make them happen. Together, we can ensure that disabled veterans and their families receive the homes they've dreamed of, fought for, and deserve. This is your chance to be a part of something truly meaningful. Your gift, whether it's $20, $50, or $100, will bring us closer to completing these projects and giving the veterans the safety, security, and dignity that they've earned. Let's start 2025 off strong and make it a year of action and impact. Donating has never been easier. We're even accepting donations through Venmo. Together, we can change lives and honor those who have sacrificed so much for our freedom. Thank you for your continued support and commitment to the Purple Heart Homes mission.
And welcome back. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together. I started before Joe gave me the thumbs up.
That's okay. It's fine. Fine.
I'm still learning this
We'll
process.
fix it in post, right? Can we fix it in post? No, probably not.
It's all right.
Yeah,
You're here.
You certainly can't fix me talking about fixing it in post.
No.
No.
But welcome back. Thank you for sticking around for another segment of Putting the Pieces Back Together.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Purple Heart Homes.
Right. Yeah. If you want to know more about Purple Heart Homes and how we're assisting veterans every day, go to phhusa.org. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Awkward silence. That's just what we're. I think before the break, I was trying to figure out like the word dependent. For some reason, it escaped me.
Really?
During the break. Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, married to a military. You're
Yeah. Wow.
bless your heart. You wouldn't know.
No, I wouldn't. I was never a dependent. I didn't
Yeah.
have any while I was in the Marine Corps.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't have any?
No, I did not have any dependents while I was in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
Well, because everybody. Well, I'm not going to get into why. I think.
Well, you were.
it
How
might not
long?
be radio safe.
Well, you were young too when you.
I joined at 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I knew a guy who literally he married this gal we found at Myrtle Beach that was already with someone else's child, and he signed the birth certificate, and then we
no.
got deployed, and then she sent him a very not happy video. If you've ever seen the movie Jarhead, it was that video. I was like, oh my gosh, Jarhead is real life, and
Wow.
yeah, and then
And then.
she also ended up with child again, and he claimed that one too.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, it was fun times. Anyways,
Anyway.
that is not how Val's life went as a dependent. So yeah, let's just go back to Val's before I get myself in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So I just.
Ask questions, Leah, quickly before
I know,
get
right?
myself in
So
trouble.
me now being on the flip side as a dependent of a military member, and getting ready to go through possibly my first deployment as a married, dependent. I want to know, yeah, we'll go at that later. But I just want to know, like, how did you cope and how did you handle your husband being gone for a year? Because I mean, you had to handle the household, the kids, the whole workload. Like, how did you handle that while he was deployed?
Well, first off, the first deployment's the worst.
Yeah.
But after that, it gets better. After the first deployment, the first one is always rough. And I was pregnant the first one too. I was like
Gosh.
8 months pregnant. My mom passed away pretty much as soon as he left, and I didn't have any family there or friends, and we didn't live on base. So that first time was rough. But honestly, I handled it mainly by getting into building. That's kind of, I had already done some, I worked at an antique store when I was a teenager and learned how to restore furniture. But then I got into building and I started building our furniture. Even pregnant, I did it, and
No kidding.
So just
doing
basically
extra stuff.
staying busy and kind of going
Staying
along.
busy, yeah, and just that's really it. Because the minute they leave, it's like everything falls. Your dishwasher breaks, your
Oh,
car
yeah.
breaks down. I swear that's exactly how it goes.
Murphy's
But
Law. Yeah.
yeah, and then the second deployment was a little rough in the beginning, but really I was already used to it, and it just went easier. It just rolled easier. And then it was harder when he came home, actually. To be honest, that was the harder part.
What do you find that's hard? Is that you took care of everything, so having him transition back into the household and finding his place again, because I know when I deployed, like, you leave
Mhm.
how life is. And so when you're gone, you carry on. So when you come back, you think you're coming back to where you left it.
Oh yeah, I guess
And
so.
then, everyone moves on. So now you're trying to fit back in to routine and fit
It's like
back
in your
in.
mind, you feel like everything was on pause while you were
Yes.
gone, and you're going to just walk back into it. And
Yep.
that's not
And
what
I
it's
can't
like for you
imagine what
'cause
it's like on
That's
your
not what
end.
it's like.
Yeah.
it's coming. It keeps going, right?
Yeah. And you like when they leave and then they possibly come back a different person. And when he came home, I was a different person because I had to do everything by myself. So and also we didn't have a baby when he left. And then when he came back, we had a baby who he had nothing to do with raising for the first 6 months, so I had my own routines and just everything. Like he literally came back and I had like a Word document on like how to do things because I'm very organized.
Yeah.
I love my spreadsheets and all that. Like it was a literal Word document. Bedtime is at this time, whatever else.
Oh, I'm sure handing a Marine a Word document worked out really well.
Yeah. He pretty much was like, I do what I want. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he came back to somebody who was not as dependent on him as I was when he left.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So he had to get used to that. And that took a lot of adjusting. And it was even more so after the second deployment. So
Well, that's one of the things we always talk about, that when someone is serving, their family is serving with them. Whether I mean, especially if they're married and they have a spouse and children at home, it's hard. You're having to go through the everyday things that you would always have to go through, but you're now having to face that challenge alone, and then deal with someone who maybe encountered a lot of situations that that you weren't there for, and you don't know how they're feeling emotionally when they come back, and so you're dealing with this person that maybe is a little different. Like you said, he was a different person when he came back, because he had to be.
mhm.
I that
I
was
commend you. I really, really do. I mean, like me going on the flip side of it, it's like it's actually a scary unknown territory. I mean, I have older kids. I mean, well, 10, 9, and 7, but still to have him gone and then still continue your life and like fill in his void. I mean, that's got to be like really difficult.
Yeah. I will say though, your marriage is never more romantic than when they're deployed. You get the best love letters.
Oh,
like,
is that right?
yes, the best emails. Like, just, everything is, I think everything was great while he
Yeah.
was deployed, except for at one point, Jason actually he was on a MEU on his first deployment and he went to Greece with all of his unit and he took all these pictures and they all dressed up in these white button-down shirts and they took pictures like it looked like a boy band, honestly. Like, they were like half unbuttoned and I was like, and we had just got married not that long before that and we never had a honeymoon because he had workups and all that, and I was like, oh well, I'm glad you're on our honeymoon with your unit. Like, I was so resentful. I was like, oh, it's not even fair.
Oh yeah, and they're all in like really good shape too. They're standing on a beach.
Yes. I was like, oh, that's real nice. I'm stuck at home I'm pregnant.
You're pregnant.
Like I'm miserable.
And here you are on
This is
the
the
Greek Isles.
worst. Like the dishwasher's leaking water. I'm like, this is my life.
And he's all like, I want it that way.
Exactly.
Leah's like, don't sing. Don't
Please
sing.
don't.
My
Please don't.
God. I've heard that story like, I don't know, 30 times, and I laugh like every time. Yeah.
Because you get the visual. Like if you meet Jason, you just
We
get
have to
visual.
find those pictures so I can actually show them to you.
Man, I hope, so I'm not sure when this episode's going to air. If I can find them ahead of time, I'm going to edit them into the show. So yeah, please do find them. Yeah. So if you're listening on the radio, you're gonna have to go find it on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you like to listen, watch your podcasts. And don't forget to like and subscribe there. Yeah. Oh wow, I just did the whole commercial thing right in the middle, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Just broke into it. Yeah.
All right.
So was that the hardest thing you had to face when he was deployed, or?
Some of it, I mean, I would say the hardest thing was probably right after my youngest was born. He did get to come home, which was not expected because my mom had passed away. So he got to come home for
Oh,
her
man.
funeral, and it just happened to line up to when I gave birth. But then he left when Tyson was like 3 days old. So the postpartum, I think, just being alone and in pain and
And
you
your
know,
mother had
everything.
just passed away.
Yeah, I had nobody. So I would say the worst was the postpartum, having to deal with that
I don't think
afterwards.
people understand that when you're a military spouse, like you're away from family
Yes.
when you're on bases, and like
I
your
had
family,
no
like
one.
thousands of
No one there.
you have no support sometimes.
Yeah, you were in North Carolina, right?
We were in Jacksonville, Camp Lejeune
And all your family lives down in
in Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, I did eventually, after he had been gone for about a month, I went and moved in with his parents to have a little bit more support and people around me and all that, which helped.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It
that's
definitely
awesome.
helped. But that was probably the worst part, and just having to do things, the balancing act of life, like trying to work and trying to get the kids to school and get the kids to sports and all of that stuff is probably the hardest part. Even grocery shopping. Like,
Oh, yeah, because you had 3 boys.
yes. And you have to like drag them all into a grocery store, and you only have 2 hands, and you know, it's like trying to figure out, you got one like clung to your leg like a rug rat, and then you're pulling the other 2 in.
I don't know the oldest, but I know the other 2 don't listen.
They're boys.
I mean, they are boys.
They do not.
Well, so hey, we're getting ready to go to a break, but when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about the construction side of things with you and Leah, because both of y'all are seeing 2 sides, or was it different sides of the same coin? How do I get in? How do I be on a radio show? I can't even put my words
I think
together.
you're intimidated being between 2 women, but we'll talk about that later.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Really? Man. So, you've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together. We'll be right back after these messages.
I'm Antonio Lewis from, let me start over. 9/11, after 9/11, so I'm a junior, you see what I'm saying, when that happened. And when it happened, it was in the back of my mind. Okay, I'll go into the military. I was in, like I said, a year. I was in 2003, the incident happened in 2004, stuck me in the arms room, did that, and then there was a mission where, hey, one of the members, passed away, and I had to go pick up his rifle. So that's how I ended up, going out on a mission, and that mission got hit on the way back, right? And people died, I was one of the lucky ones that, hey, my hearing and those things, but it was just like, hey, I'm good. You get older, you start like, hey, is this normal? That concussion, that TBI, those different things, and start talking to different doctors and just realize that, hey, you're not okay. Coming here to Texas with the opportunity to go to school, had a son, right? Find out, hey, I can have kids, And growing up without a home, just moving around a lot, going from place to place, that's something that I challenged myself, that my son will always have a place to stay. So bought a house, and didn't understand what was going into that, just all the responsibilities that come with owning a home. We had a bunch of rain here, and it got to the point where the roof started leaking. And so it just got between that, child care, cost of living, became a struggle. So that's where my buddy was just like, hey, Purple Heart Homes, reached out to them, and I wasn't expecting to get back with me so soon, but they did. September, I got a brand new roof. It was bright and early. I mean, if you could see the street, it was all flooded. It was hard to get it. My neighbor was looking at me crazy. You got this hammering, going on, and then you got these news crews showing up, and then you got Firehouse Roofing and all these guys just coming up and just saying, hey, I want to shake your hand and thank you for your service. It just humbled me, and so it was just like, I didn't know what to do, but just take it in. Humbling experience, we go through life, challenges, and then when something like that happens to you, you're just at a loss for words, and like I said, I'm forever grateful for Purple Heart Homes, Owens Corning, and Firehouse Roofing, just for that, that love. I just thank you guys from the bottom of my heart.
And welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together. where you can go to YouTube. Where, Devin? Because you forgot to mention that.
Well, yeah. No, I said YouTube, but I didn't say the channel.
Where?
You follow Purple Heart Homes on YouTube.
There you
Is that
go.
what you were trying to
Yeah.
get at? Yes. And Facebook, follow Purple Heart Homes to find all the content, not just putting the pieces back together, but we got veteran interviews on there. I worked hard on those.
You did.
Yeah,
You did
yeah.
really well.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
thank
yeah,
you. I
you can go to
appreciate that.
phhusa.org. You can find out all the events that we're doing, all the veterans that we've been helping.
Absolutely.
You can go on there and you can donate, become a Hearts of Honor.
Yes, yeah. If you want to help out a veteran every day, that's what we
Mhm.
do here at Purple Heart Homes. Is we assist veterans with critical home repair, and that's everything from wheelchair ramps to roofs, ADA bathrooms, HVAC systems, anything that has to do with health, safety, or accessibility.
Yes.
And also we're building these amazing tiny homes in our facilities in Statesville, North Carolina. We're not just helping people in North Carolina. We are a national nonprofit organization, 46 states in Puerto Rico. The only reason we haven't helped people in those other 4 states is not a lot of people in South Dakota. That we're just not
Have
getting
we been to
applications.
Idaho?
Yeah. What'd you call me?
I've always wondered,
Yeah.
like the poor little town of Idaho, or state of Idaho. It's only known for its potatoes.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know.
have we been there?
I'm not sure. I'll have to check with Matt Stevenson. He is the knower of all
He
things PHH. Yeah, he's in charge of the project managers. He's fantastic fella.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask both you and our guest a little bit more about the tiny home program, because one of you is focusing on purchasing all the materials and making sure logistically that they're there when they need to be there. And then Val, our guest, she is actually in charge of the construction itself, making sure we hit those timelines and that the guys are doing the work that they're supposed to be doing. So we'll start with you, Val. What do you think the hardest part about production of tiny homes is?
Space. It's even though they're tiny homes, it's like just working around the space, having to work around them. And the facility was not originally built for that. So that's probably the hardest part.
Yeah, it's an old flooring factory.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how many tiny homes y'all got going right now?
We have 7 because we have
I
one
think we
out.
have one in the parking lot, and then
then-
we have, and that one's finished. And then we have 6 more, six
6
more in the
inside,
shop
yep.
right now.
So there's one waiting to go to its final destination.
Mhm.
Because
And-
as
Actually,
we get
3
them
waiting.
done,
There's 3 that are finished.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
The other 2 in the shop are finished as well. They're just not on a trailer.
Okay.
So, and
Wow.
that's another project itself, getting it on the trailer to do its space and
Yeah,
everything
that's
else.
right. I mean, because you're doing all of that in how big's that warehouse?
30,000.
Is that both sides?
Oh gosh, now you're gonna call me out on that.
I'm not really sure. I don't
So
know.
one side has the offices, and the other side has
Mhm.
the warehouse that we're building the tiny homes in. And it's like she said, it's a process. They build them on these manufactured dollies that we call them dollies, but they're built on a metal frame,
Yep.
and then they're moved through each phase. And then when they get to the end, they strategically turn them in the warehouse so that way they can go out the roll door. But then they jack them up, put them on blocks, slide the dolly out, and back the carrier in, and ready to go. It's a process. I mean,
You
it's
make
like
it sound so easy though, Leah. I don't know. It doesn't
there are
sound hard at
beams
all.
everywhere. I mean,
Yeah, it usually ends up being like a 15-point turn by the time we get.
it's like
around the
Austin
corner.
Powers.
It's like back and forth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Austin Powers when he gets stuck in the hallway with the go
Oh,
kart.
yes,
it's like
I
ding,
remember
ding,
that.
ding, ding. Yeah,
And the whole time I'm watching like the top where the metal roof is, I'm like, God, please don't hit anything. Please
Yeah.
don't hit anything.
Oh yeah, there's places where when you're turning
if
that
you hit
home,
that corner, whew.
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
Because the building itself is 100 years old, but I think our side is only like 60 or 70 years old. I say only.
it's only 60 or 70.
But yes,
years
for
old.
some of you that don't know, it used to be Armstrong Flooring. That may know in Statesville.
Well, this is not just a state.
I know, but I'm saying as you were, Devin.
I'm so sorry. But Did you see the look she gave me?
Yes, I get that look at least 3 times a day.
Do you really?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
real talk, what's it like being an office mate with Leah? Is it?
It's, it's not that bad. It's actually funny because she'll sometimes get like aggressive with her voice. And then just as I'm about to be like, who are you sniffing at? She's like, why am I yelling so loud?
I do that all the time. Like I'll get excited about something and I'm like fussing and then I'm like, wait, hold on, why am I yelling? And I'm like, I'm just talking to Val. There was one time, oh my gosh, it was so funny. We were bringing a washer and dryer into taking it to one of the tiny homes here. And I'm trying to like lay it on me and I huffed. And all I hear is, don't get mad at me, Missy. And I'm like, I'm just breathing. Because I was laying it off and I took a breath and I was like, I'm just breathing. But I mean, actually, it's like been really good working with Val. Like her amount of knowledge in the construction and then my knowledge in the logistics, just it really works. I mean, I don't know a lot about the construction. I'm still learning all the materials and everything, but Val's like, hey, we need to change this and start adding this and we need to order, you know. And so we're now finally getting into a process that we know how much material we need. We know what's it going to take to build a home, what's it going to take the cost of the home. So it's finally like getting into a systematic flow now.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I know you like you said you weren't into construction. But you did logistics.
I
And
did
supply
logistics and supply, yeah.
and so you're taking that side of things, but you don't really need to know the construction. You just need to know what materials they need and general timelines for things. And then Val actually knows the construction side of things, how things actually go together, when that should happen, how long that takes. And so, was that a easily formed relationship, or did y'all have any like what do they call that?
No.
Where you trip up at the beginning?
No, not really.
We're like the only two girls back there anyway.
Yeah, we didn't really have any issues because honestly, like when she started, it was a different manager in the shop.
Mm-hmm.
He was a little bit more old school, didn't do the same stuff. So I was already doing it anyways. Like I was making the lists and
Checking it twice.
yes, checking it twice.
Very
All
much
that,
so.
yeah.
Val, Santa Claus, don't tell anybody.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were doing it even before I started managing and it just kind of moved into it. And it was easy because I don't want to be the one to buy stuff. So it works out really well. Like, I hate going to the store. I don't like shopping. I don't like negotiating with people.
gosh.
And she's good with all that.
There was one day I came back. I took a couple of days off. She was like, don't ever leave me again. Vendors came in all the time, every day. I didn't know what to tell them. Like I had to talk to people. Like all the reps came in on the one day that I was off.
Yeah.
was
Like,
"Don't worry, I'll
I
call
had
it
to
back."
people the whole time you were gone.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
horrible.
Yeah. It's fun though. It's fun. We enjoy it.
Well, I always have a lot of fun. I spend a lot of time going up there and talking to Leah about the radio show, and I think Val probably gets annoyed with me coming back there and constantly
Gosh,
asking
Devin.
her construction workers to do stupid videos, and I had them doing a dumb video today, and I could tell she's tolerating me because I hang out with Val a lot outside of work because and I can tell when she tolerates me and when she's actually happy that I'm there, which is rare.
It's like herding cats back there. It's such a big shop that everybody's in different corners. And when I need everybody to get up there, it is literally herding cats. Like I got to run around and try to find people. Their phones don't work in certain parts of the building.
Oh yeah,
All that stuff. So when I get them together, it's like, all right, do what you need to do so that I can like get going with my stuff. What I need to do.
We have a
Yeah.
time schedule to keep, like we really do.
Speaking of time schedules, I'm getting the signal from the producer that it's time to take a radio break. He wants me to stick on that time schedule. You know, do we really have to pay for commercials or studio or what? Yeah. No,
He's like, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, you know what? We are very appreciative to our sponsors, so we are going to give them that time. And so, hey, you've been listening to Putting the Pieces Back Together. We'll catch you after this break. Welcome back to Putting the Pieces Back Together, where we can't decide who is going to bring us back in.
We just make eye contact. We're like, is it gonna be me? Is it gonna be you? Like rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yeah, I think we got a little confused there for a second. There was there was a lot of distractions
Yeah, it's
during
okay.
the
all right.
Facebook break, whatever that is thing there. Yeah.
I'm just like looking at the wardrobe change on
Yeah.
our lovely guest.
It
It's like
is steadily getting colder and colder in here. I feel like I'm just like freezing.
Yeah, you started off in a t-shirt.
I know.
And now you're
I'm like
wearing,
layering up.
Yeah. Then you got a denim shirt on, and now you've got like a parka on your lap.
Like a little old lady, like just putting more stuff on.
we had one more segment. She'd have a blanket wrapped around her
Yeah, no
shoulder.
kidding, man. Well, have a little space heater over here for her.
Speaking of
That would
space
be
heaters, we have
wonderful.
like 3 space heaters in our office because it's so cold.
Do you really? Well, you built your own office though, right?
Yes.
No, we did
No.
not. It was
No?
built before she got here, and it was a previous employee that built it.
Wow,
And it
you
did
said
not
that
get
so
insulated.
sassily. Oh, they didn't insulate it.
So that whole side of the building is not
Why would
insulated.
you build a building and then or office and then not insulate
I
it?
don't know, Devin. Why would they? I don't know. I don't know. It
Why
just
do men
didn't.
do half the things they do?
Oh wow! Are you really gonna go there?
It just didn't get insulated, so it is very cold in there, and it takes forever to heat up, and you can hear everything in there.
Well, I think that during that incarnation of the tiny home building, they weren't spending a lot of time in the office doing the office work. So they're like, it doesn't need to be
Yeah, because they didn't
insulated."
have anyone like a year
yeah,
ago.
there wasn't a permanent person up there.
Mm-mm.
Right. Yeah. So that probably was not a priority to make sure it was insulated. Well, next time we have one of those tiny houses spray foam, we'll just drill some holes in the in the drywall, and y'all can just spray foam in there.
What-
Wow!
we
Look
don't
at
even-
your faces. Like I didn't think of that.
Light boom.
No, I did think about it, but yeah. Next time we have like an extra $4,000 or a
You
few
know,
days,
yeah.
we can just
Just
put it
insulate
in
her.
Yeah, you should do
Yes.
that. Yeah, because we always have an extra $4,000
Mhm.
around here. That being facetious for our listeners.
Yeah.
We are always struggling with money because it's a nonprofit.
It is.
You know,
But I mean, every dollar that we get goes to the veterans.
Mhm.
absolutely. We get
You know,
that's one of the hardest parts about maintaining an operation like this is like you need money for putting insulation and walls at the facilities so the workers can not be so cold they can't type. Because you have to be able to order materials and call vendors and things like that if you're gonna.
not even that. I mean, even the floor, out there. I mean, it's a big open concrete area.
Oh my gosh! Talk about heating and cooling nightmare. I don't know exactly what is going on in that warehouse, but it is colder in the winter in the warehouse than it is outside.
Mhm.
And in the summer, it's somehow hotter in the warehouse than it is outside. It's just, it's whatever this temperature is outside, they're going to take it to the extreme.
But we still work in it.
You do, yes.
We still
every day.
dedicate ourselves to, making sure, because we know that at the end of the day, these homes are going to a veteran, and it's about them at the
Absolutely.
end of the day. That, yeah, you kind of just suck it up and move on, but there's pride that goes into what we're doing. So,
And it definitely shows.
yeah. So you just go through it, work it. Right, Val?
Yeah.
But what is it that, like, how did you find out about the position at Purple Heart Homes?
Actually, my husband was coming here. He had started coming here for what was that program that Brad used to do, Devin? The
It was Reboot.
Oh yes, Reboot.
was the Reboot
So my
program,
husband
yeah.
started coming here for Reboot. Because when he first got out, he went through a phase, like a depression phase, pretty common. He's really open about it. He'll talk about it to anyone. But when we moved here, it kind of happened again, specifically because of just not having any friends here. So he started coming here. I think he
Mhm.
met Brad and started coming here. And he did a tour and he came home and he told me all about it. And I was like, oh, that's just so cool. And, yada, yada. And then I was working at the cabinet shop. And then I met Paul and we would see him at the Wine Maestro. And I kept asking him, like, kind of joking but not joking, like, hey, are you hiring cabinet makers over there? And he's like, no, we don't really. We get our cabinets donated. So I just kept like slipping it in there every once in a while that I was interested in a job here. And then my husband told me about a position that had opened up that he was going to apply for to be the ramp team leader. and, and I was like, and then he was telling me about the 4-day work weeks. And I was like, that sounds fabulous. And I was like, so what if I put in an application over there? He's like, you can't do that. You're better. You have a better chance than I do.
Yes.
It's like you have more experience than I do. It's like, I know. And I went ahead and put in the application.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, here you are.
That's messed up.
Yep.
Yeah. And he actually did. He sent an email to the HR person that did the hiring and actually said, just so you know, my wife will be applying and she is better qualified for the position and there is no hard feelings and all of that. But yeah, I just really
Wow,
wanted to
that's-
be here
No kidding.
doing this instead of building cabinets. So although I do like building cabinets, but I wanted to be here helping veterans and feeling like I was doing something different and just making something pretty.
That is awesome. And you've really done a fabulous job. I mean, I see the work that you do, and she is super dedicated. Actually, there's a problem. She when she starts working on something, she doesn't want to stop.
No.
I-
I have to tell her, look, that it's lunchtime. You need to eat.
Do you remember when we went to Wisconsin and like we were supposed to go to schmooze with the locals because we were trying to start a chapter.
Oh yeah.
And Val's like, no, I'm not done with this thing. And I was like, you want us to leave you out here in Wisconsin in the middle of nowhere working on a wheelchair ramp by yourself?
I was like, exactly. Yes, please leave. Go do your thing, and I'm gonna stay here and prep this for tomorrow.
I think she just wanted me to go away.
Maybe, but I did get it prepped, and then we were able to take off the next day,
You did.
right where we needed to be.
Yeah, that was it was an it was an interesting trip.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was.
When did
yeah.
you go to Wisconsin? Like what time of year?
Yeah. It was springish.
Oh, okay.
The ground was thawed.
Yeah, it was cold sometimes, but it warmed up at some point too. I think it went from like at one point it was like 50 degrees, and at one point it was like 90.
Yeah, it was.
It got really hot.
Oh, wow.
You talk about like we always say in North Carolina, if you don't like the weather, wait a day.
A couple hours.
Yeah, it's in Wisconsin. It was worse. They were up in that's in Rhinelander. That's where our chapter is in Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
And they're so far north. It's dang near Canada. You know,
Canada.
That's home of the Hodag. In case y'all are wondering.
Yes, I was educated on the Hodag. There's a Hodag store, which Devin insisted that we go to. They just
No.
sell. So the Hodag was like a fictional swamp monster type thing.
Yeah, it's their town mascot.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
it's green.
If you don't know about the Hodag, look it up. It's pretty awesome. Maybe we'll throw a link down to a Hodag thing in the comments or something.
Don't
check
you
it
have a Hodag shirt? Didn't you
I
get a
do
shirt?
have a Hodag shirt. Yeah,
So you can wear the shirt.
I can
one
wear
day.
the Hodag shirt one day. Yeah. Well, so we've got just a few minutes left in the regular broadcast. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you want to make sure that we get to talk about?
I don't think so, man. You really put me on the spot.
Well, yeah, that's what the
Okay, I'll ask.
I don't
Okay.
think
So
there's
what is
anything I
it
won't
when
do.
you said that you build ramps? And I know you probably went out there and got to see the veterans. And is there like a memorable moment that you remember finishing a ramp for a veteran and maybe his or her reaction or anything that kind of sticks out that is like the one time that you remember?
I think probably, I mean, the one in Wisconsin, that gentleman rolled down the ramp, I think, before we were even completely done. I don't even think we had all the rails up, and he was freewheeling it right down the.
Oh yeah, we thought he was. We're like,
He almost did bust through the
Wait
wall.
for your electric
Yeah.
wheelchair.
Yeah. That one, I remember that one being really cool. There was another one that we did in Charlotte where the veteran, I think her name was Shakira.
Oh yeah, Shakira Woodbury.
Yes, and she has twin daughters, and one of the daughters came out and helped us, and she was like 18, 19, I want to say something like that, and now she's actually pursuing possibly carpentry,
Oh wow.
something like that, and I think
Oh,
that's pretty cool. It
awesome.
Yeah.
doesn't have a lot to do with the veterans, but it inspired me. It made me feel good.
Well, it does because I mean, you're talking about a child of a veteran, and now you've given them a little bit of inspiration along with assisting the veteran with their housing needs. So that's pretty awesome. And that just goes to show when you're helping these veterans, you're not just helping the veteran themselves, you're helping their family, and you're showing them that the community cares
Oh,
about
absolutely.
the whole family, because we do.
I mean, you're giving that family like some of their freedom back too. You know, I mean, they struggle sometimes taking care of the veteran themselves, and so now they get a ramp, and now easier accessibility to get in and out. I don't know. I think the whole thing as a whole is phenomenal.
Absolutely. Well, hey Val, it is getting to the end of the regular broadcast. I just want to thank you for coming on and being on the show today. I've been aggravating you to do this for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for having me.
There you go.
I appreciate it.
That's the worst.
I was waiting for you to finish talking. It could have just gone on forever.
Talking, Val.
No.
You know this. Yeah. If anybody does, you
Trying
know.
not to interrupt you.
Well, thank you. If you want to know more about Purple Heart Homes, go to phhusa.org, and we'll catch you next week. We're in the bonus content. Bonus content. You hate
Poor Val's cold.
You don't like when I do that, do you?
Oh, my feet are falling asleep.
So you
Wake
know
'em
that
back
you're
up.
still on the microphone.
Am I really?
Yeah.
So we can talk smack about Devin.
No, why would you talk smack about me? And why are you kicking your feet right now?
They're falling asleep. I
Your
don't
feet are
normally
falling-
sit down this
She does
long.
not sit down
That's
this
true.
long.
Yeah,
I'm
you're-
normally like up all the
Ping-ponging.
time. My feet aren't used to it.
Well,
I feel like we need to do a squat check right now.
what a spot check.
Squat check.
It's
Oh,
where
yeah.
one of us says squat check and we get out of our chairs and do squats.
Oh, you
Yeah.
actually do squats in your office?
Yeah, because like
If
we
you see our heads
sit-
popping up and down
in the
through
window.
that's what we're doing.
I'm just gonna have to like go by there randomly and
every
Did it
now
to me
and then.
Yesterday, I was like, dang it.
Because we sit, either we sit or we just don't move. Or
Do you do it in sync though? Like, are you like,
Pretty much, yeah.
no.
Not that
No.
organized.
No.
we're usually giggling, making sure
I
our
mean,
form.
Leah, you were in the army. I figured.
No, but
Oh,
yeah, but
y'all can't count. I forgot. So
Yeah. true story from front to front to rear count off, or whatever it is. Like I don't even know. And you'd get like the guys would start counting 1, 2, 3, and then you get like 10 rows back, and someone's asleep, and he's like 15,
Yeah.
and then the first time's like start over.
I've been in a lot of formations where that's happened.
Nudging them, it's like golly, just count who's on the bus, and then the next thing you know, the first time's going 2, 4, 6, 8. Like, oh, we will never get them. 27 years and we have never counted correctly on a bus. True
You know,
story.
didn't who was it that got left at a facility? Oh, it was Sapala. Yeah,
got left
were you part of
somewhere?
that?
No.
Were you there when that happened? So Andy Sapala, he works here. He's John's executive assistant at Purple Heart Homes, and they were in the National Guard together, and they were out on like one of their weekends away, but they had to go train at a different facility, and they bust everybody in. When it was time to leave, apparently they didn't count right on the bus, and Andy was off doing some other kind of mission. He had to go like wash vehicles really far away, and he just hadn't made it back yet.
When did they remember him? Like, how long did
Like
it
when
take?
he called him on the phone.
Oh my God. It's like, it's like
We're
Home
already
Alone.
back.
Now, if you had met Andy, I don't know that that's not intentional. Yeah.
Beyond the realm of
I
possibility.
love you, Andy, but I would leave you off
Yeah.
the bus too.
Like, guys, Guys, in the middle of the parking lot.
Yeah.
Where'd y'all go?
And I know dang good and well when they got on that bus, they counted.
I told you we can't count. Someone probably counted twice. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Poor Andy.
Poor
Bless.
Andy. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure that he got his revenge. Actually, I think he made some sort of deal where he wasn't ever supposed to be on KP duty again or something. And then they changed commanders, and Tim Mangum, who is now our chief financial officer, he became the commander of that unit. And like the first thing he walks in, he's like, just to let you know, I'm not doing KP duty and this, that. And like Andy's like a corporal talking to a lieutenant colonel. And if you don't know military ranks, that is a vast disparity in ranks. It was pretty incredible there. Tim did not take that well.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm surprised Andy has both his ass cheeks.
Well, he made it all the way to first sergeant.
So I'm going to ask a dumb question. I don't know what KP duty is. So I'm hearing this whole story.
Kitchen patrol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back in the day,
okay.
we as recruits would have to go into the kitchen and peel potatoes or help the lunch ladies.
Okay.
And so it was called kitchen patrol. And like you were either washing dishes or whatever.
I think mostly now it ends up just being washing dishes.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Well, we had when I was getting ready to get out, we had some new people come in. I'm like, you got KP duty? And they're like, what's KP? I about had a heart attack. And I'm like, you go in and you help the cooks do the dishes because there's only so many of them. He's like, yeah, we had contractors that did that. I'm like, so you never peeled a potato? You never chopped carrots?
Well,
you never put your hands in that disgusting water?
They've never shined boots either.
No.
Like when I'm sure when you went to boot camp, you had to shine boots in boot camp.
We had to shine our boots like 3 or 4 times a day.
Oh yeah.
Like your own boots or other people's boots?
Our own.
Your
Unless you
own.
needed to make money and then you shine other people's boots.
I would shine other people's boots. I don't have a problem. I still shine my shoes to this day.
talked
Like
about
actually, I'm looking at these shoes right now and they're a little scuffed.
Yeah.
I'm about to shine them up. I offer to shine people's boots.
I know. I remember actually saying, I'm going to bring in some boots and you can shine them. And you were like, okay, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
Like,
no
I'll do
problem.
it.
Like that's something.
It's like cathartic.
He's probably
Yeah.
sitting in the
When I
living room
do it,
going.
I don't even talk. Can you imagine? Yeah.
You're
That's
probably
weird.
singing cadences in your head as you're like,
Your left, your left, your left, right. I think I sound like Kermit the Frog when I sing cadence. Do I? Yeah. Like if Kermit the Frog would
that story about Wes when he came and you were out in the parking lot by yourself.
singing cadence. Yeah.
Wes Richards, and he came for a thing and he's like,
I don't know.
he was one of our guests for Real Heroes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And he
yeah, I
came
do know
for
Wes,
and he
actually.
came for an event or something, came to visit, and he was like, who's that dude out in the parking lot just yelling cadences? Like he was some kind of special
Why were you
person.
doing it? Just for funsies?
I don't know. I think yeah.
He had a
To do
moment.
it.
Yeah. You know, sometimes if nobody else, I do that all the time, but I'm often here by myself at the facilities. I stay a little bit later, and I could either be saying cadence or singing at the top of my lungs.
But when he
Yeah.
found out he was a Marine, it was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah, it happens all the time. It's the thing we do.
it's blessed.
I do like 5-minute dance parties in my kitchen sometimes just for myself. They just look ridiculous. Like,
why not?
I mean, I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a 5-minute dance party and then I just do whatever. And I like to do like, can't touch this. And like,
Oh. Do you do the MC Hammer dance?
yes, I do.
Oh, nice.
I do. But was it yesterday? If you get the chance to look at the security cameras back in the shop, yesterday I had to send AJ to go get my purse, and he was like, "You're gonna make me carry your purse through the shop," and I was like, "Yes, I am." And when you get in front of the cameras, I need you to do a special walk, and you have to carry it like a purse. So in front of the security cameras, he did like a full-on walk. And since then, everybody's been doing it now in front of the cameras
No
just to see
kidding.
who sees it. Like
shimmy.
who just happens to be watching it.
Oh, we gotta get that
Mhm.
footage pulled. I'm gonna talk to Terry and see about getting
Yeah.
that. Like I'll make I'll make it a social media video.
So I did what is that thing called that the kids are doing?
The floss.
I did the floss in front of it today because it was my turn.
Do you know how to do that?
Yeah, I can do don't floss.
Oh wow. No, I look like a monkey. Yeah, no.
I learned on YouTube.
Oh,
Oh, I
Just
gotta,
look
I
on
gotta
YouTube.
watch more
what a
YouTube.
stigma.
Yeah,
God.
no kidding. Well, hey,
We have to go back to work,
We-
Devin.
I-
We have real
I
jobs.
actually have a lot of work to do today.
Shock face.
I always have a lot of work to do. Thank you. Yeah, but this is my way of avoiding it. You gotta stay here. Yeah. So, anyways, it's time to say goodbye to our YouTube viewers and Facebook peoples. Bye, Facebook
people.
peoples
Thanks
and
for
YouTube
stopping
peoples.
by
It was
and
good
hanging
to see
out
you,
with
the
us.
people. Yeah, yeah. And bye, Joe. We'll miss you.
Bye, Joe.
Bye, Joe.
Bye, y'all.
Till next week.